think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. We already know. We knew Crawford is a great fighter.
Listen, Crawford Mayweather would have been an amazing fight in their prime. Just like you insert Ray Leonard in there, just like you insert Ray Robinson in there. What a round robin that was.
Try. You catch him, he want to catch you back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You fighting Bud, he's not. Bud's not running from nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I felt that I had the upper hand in our competition.
Canelo has weighed in on Terence Crawford's response to Floyd Mayweather's fight talk, and his reaction might surprise some. Instead of brushing it off, Canelo issued a blunt warning, saying Crawford would actually beat Floyd if they ever fought. He gave Crawford full credit, calling him the superior fighter right now and praising his achievements. Canelo described him as amazing, highlighting his timing, skills, and ability to dominate across multiple weight divisions. For Canelo, there's no debate. Crawford has already earned the respect of fans, fighters, and experts throughout the sport.
I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. We already know. We knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I try my best tonight, and I just cannot figure out the style.
Was it something specific, the movement or the speed or power, or what? Was there something you could put your finger on that gave you the most trouble?
Everything.
Okay.
He have everything. You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He know how to move and
Garage Hackett weighed in on Canelo's reaction to Terence Crawford, highlighting the sharp difference between Canelo's own loss to Floyd Mayweather and Crawford's recent win over him. Hackett explained that when Canelo fought Floyd at just 23, he wasn't the polished star we know today. He was still developing and lacked the experience needed at the highest level. Crawford, on the other hand, faced Canelo once he had already risen to become boxing's biggest name and one of its most complete fighters. In Hackett's eyes, that's what makes Crawford's victory so powerful. It came against a fully matured, peak version of Canelo, not the raw, unfinished fighter who once fell short against Mayweather.
Heard that. What I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe. We're not going to ever see Bud versus Floyd. And it's crazy. It's crazy because I would love to see that fight, but I know we're not going to see it. But I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he's been doing and all that, trust me, it's some wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying, I do give Bud his credit though for beating Canelo, and Canelo understands I am a better fighter today than I was back then. But that's hard to say because Floyd, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Bud took maybe 20% of what Floyd did and added that to his repertoire for this fight. So that's why I'm saying it's tough to say that.
Joe Rogan couldn't hide his amazement after watching Terence Crawford topple Canelo Alvarez. He zeroed in on the fact that Crawford, at 37 years old, jumped up 2 full weight classes to take on the challenge, a move almost unheard of in boxing history. Rogan emphasized that no fighter at that stage of their career has stepped up and beaten someone with Canelo's reputation and skill, which makes the accomplishment historic. To him, this wasn't just another victory. It was a defining moment that showcased Crawford's greatness and firmly cemented his place as one of the sport's most extraordinary athletes.
It's like you're watching, wow. Towards the end, towards the final rounds, he really started getting comfortable and really started putting it on him. I'm like, this is amazing.
You know, one of those rare, like, that's history, obviously, right? Watching somebody do, you shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to fight at that weight for the first time ever.
Against one of the greatest
greatest of all time, fucking, and do what you did. It is beyond, like, my favorite, an outlier. You're beyond an outlier. You're an anomaly.
Yeah. Something special. And
something really special.
I believe he's 37.
Yeah. One of those where you shouldn't be able to do that by any account. By any account. 37, my body was so wrecked. I'm like, fuck you. You know, I could barely go bowling.
Paulie Malignaggi shared his thoughts on the ongoing debate about who stands higher between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. He pointed out that arguments like this never really reach a final answer, since each fighter belongs to a different era with its own unique challenges. Malignaggi stressed that while the comparison makes for an intriguing discussion among fans and analysts, it's ultimately endless because both men have strong claims to greatness. He acknowledged Floyd's spotless record and legendary run, while also giving respect to Crawford's dominance across weight classes and victories over top-level opponents. For Malignaggi, it's the debate itself that keeps boxing so engaging, even if the question can never truly be settled.
154 pounders and it was in a young Canelo and a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 4 to 54. You know, remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54. I don't know. I can't say I disagree or agree. I just think that Mayweather, because it's so far away, so long ago, you know, and people sort of start to underestimate the things he did. You know, people talk about Canelo takes his repertoire from the Mayweather repertoire. No, he doesn't. Mayweather fought ex-champions. This guy's fighting guys who will never even smell, may never smell a belt in their life, and he was fighting them. So. You know, Mayweather, even if you're saying, he didn't fight the very best, he still fought champions and ex-champions, even at 47.
Timothy Bradley didn't hold back, putting forward a bold claim that Terence Crawford has the right tools to beat Floyd Mayweather as well. Bradley broke it down by saying Crawford carries the ideal mix of ring IQ, adaptability, punching power, and technique needed to challenge Floyd's trademark defense. He argued that Crawford's ability to make adjustments on the fly, combined with his precise timing, would create a nightmare matchup for Mayweather, even at his very best. Bradley's remarks showed just how highly he rates Crawford, believing the Omaha champion deserves to be mentioned alongside the sport's all-time legends. In Bradley's eyes, Crawford isn't just special. He has everything required to surpass fighters once thought untouchable.
Oh, absolutely. But Terence Crawford will whoop his ass. He would beat Floyd Mayweather. I'm telling you right now, he will beat Floyd Mayweather too. He will beat him too. He got everything it takes to beat Floyd. Floyd struggled in the first half against Zab Judah. Zab Judah, a damn terrific fighter. Terrific fighter, but he ain't no damn Terence Crawford. Especially from the southpaw position. Floyd didn't like fighting southpaws. Floyd reached with that right hand. You think he's gonna reach against one of the best back foot counter punches in the game? He gonna reach with that right hand against Crawford? He gonna get slept reaching with that backhand. The way he reaches with that. That level change backhand he throws too? Man, that pull jab he does too, that ain't gonna work. That is not gonna work. Floyd got a 72-inch reach. Yeah, he had quickness, fast reflexes. However, Crawford got all of that too. He got all of that too. And he got a 75-inch reach. Great counter puncher. Can concentrate all night. Can put pressure on Floyd. He can even invite Floyd in. Yep, I noticed. Floyd's not having success. He started to step on the gas. That's what he do. And he gonna run into problems with Crawford because Crawford hits harder than...
Some voices in boxing believe that if Terence Crawford truly wants to move past Floyd Mayweather's legacy, the path runs through Dimitri Bivol. Bivol? celebrated for his size, precision, and dominance at light heavyweight, stands as the kind of monumental challenge that could redefine Crawford's place in history. Critics insist that taking down Bivol would prove Crawford's ability to conquer a bigger, younger, and technically elite fighter at his peak. A win of that magnitude, they argue, would silence all debate, lifting Crawford into a realm even beyond Mayweather's achievements and sealing him as one of the sport's ultimate.
Let's see Bivol, Bud, next, since Bud's so strong. That's what I said. Why are you talking about 54? None of them dudes gonna get you up. If you truly beat Canelo, why not be the greatest fighter in the existence of boxing? Like, Bivol is the only dude to beat 2 undisputed active champions. Like, he beat Canelo as an undisputed champion, and he beat Better Beef as an undisputed champion. Bivol, historically, might go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. If you beat Bivol and you beat Canelo, I mean, Crawford might have surpassed TBE in Floyd. Floyd has never beaten someone as accomplished as Bivol. And forget about accomplishments like perceived threat. Who's Bivol on Floyd's resume?
Reports suggest that Terence Crawford is now setting his sights on making history as a 6th Division world champion, a feat achieved by only a select few in the sport. Already celebrated for conquering multiple weight classes and dismantling elite opponents, Crawford's new ambition reflects his relentless drive to push the limits. The prospect of him stepping into the middleweight division at 160 pounds has electrified the boxing world, as it would mean facing naturally bigger and stronger rivals. For many, this pursuit is another sign that Crawford is chasing greatness on every possible front.
And Terence Crawford and his team stated that if he does stay in the sport of boxing and he does move down, he's not going to drop down below 160. And so it's being reported that Terence Crawford wants to become a 6th Division champion. And a guy that he had his sights set on is now calling him out aggressively and daring him to come down and fight him. And that's Janibek, who is seen to be the best 160-pounder in the world. And he's the unified IBF and WBO 160 middleweight world champion. The middleweight division, 160, is a glamour division. There's the top 3 glamour divisions in the sport of boxing is welterweight, 147. Terence Crawford knocked out every opponent he faced at welterweight and became undisputed there.
Adding even more intrigue, Janibek Alimkhanuly has publicly stepped forward with a direct challenge to Crawford, daring him to face him at middleweight without hesitation. Janibek, an undefeated champion with a rising reputation, views this as his chance to secure a career-defining fight against one of boxing's all-time greats. For Crawford, accepting the challenge would not only be another step in his pursuit of legacy, but also an opportunity to prove his dominance across yet another weight class. Whether this clash becomes reality or not, the possibility alone has fueled intense debate among fans and analysts, making Crawford's next move one of the most anticipated in the sport.
He faced at welterweight and became undisputed there. The next glamour division is middleweight, 160, that Marvin Hagler, made famous, many middleweights, Sugar Ray Robinson. It's a glamour division, right? Sugar Ray Leonard moved up there, Tommy Hearns, that's a glamour division. And obviously, the division that carries the sport of boxing when it's on top is the heavyweight division. Then you can make a case for the lightweight division, so on and so forth, right? I would say the lightweight division is number 4. So Terence Crawford became a champion at lightweight, right? So with that said, you have Janibek, who's seen as the best fighter there. He's the IBF WBO champion.
Analysts reflected on the story of Miguel Silky Smooth Gonzalez, the last man to ever defeat Terence Crawford back in the amateur ranks. He noted that beating Crawford today would demand extraordinary preparation and unmatched skill, much like how challengers once viewed Floyd Mayweather during his prime. The analysts stressed that Crawford has now evolved into one of the most complete fighters in the sport, blending defensive sharpness with surgical offensive precision. Just as Mayweather's style frustrated opponents for years, Crawford now carries that same aura of invincibility. His ability to adjust mid-fight, avoid damage, and deliver pinpoint counters makes him the type of fighter that opponents know requires endless training just to stand a chance against.
Terence Crawford, what did you do to actually get a win over him?
I agree with Augie. With what he said about Floyd, I'm going to say about Crawford. You got to punch with Crawford. You got to counter Crawford and punch with Crawford. You got to bang the body with Crawford. You got to stay on top of Crawford. You know what I mean? Fight him in that phone booth if you can. I mean, as I remember, that's exactly what I did. You know, Crawford, he switches and all that. I don't get that. I don't get out my hookup with all the switching he does. But what tripped me out was he got low in the ring. Like, he kind of like cut his height down. I had a field day with that. He should have stayed tall. You know, he cut his height down, and you know, I stayed in his chest. You know, and you gotta counter Crawford. You gotta fight Crawford. And what I always thought about Crawford was he's easily taken out his hookup. I thought, you know, maybe he fought his fight. I thought he fought my fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he grew out of getting out of his hookup. I think
because,
I think he learned how to just kind of adjust and do what needed to be done more so.
Break that down for us, guys. What do you guys mean the hookup? Break that down for us.
So yeah, you know what?
Getting caught up in a war?
I'll go ahead, Miguel. Like break down Bud getting caught out of his hookup.
Well, you know, with Bud, I thought, you know, but you can easily get Bud to fight you.
Back in the day. Yeah. And you know, Gamboa, you know, showed parts of that. You know, and Bud, all his fights, Bud fights you. Yeah.
Bud gets, you know what I mean? Every fight I see Bud fighting, even still to this day, but I totally understand what Sean's saying. For sure. Bud's the truth. But when I see Bud fighting, you catch him, he want to catch you back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You fighting Bud, Bud's not running from nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I felt that I had the upper hand in our competition.
Mm-hmm. Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, shared his perspective on the victory over Canelo Alvarez. He described the fight as easy work for Crawford, stressing how thoroughly they had prepared for every possible scenario. Bomac also responded to the criticism often aimed at Crawford's career decisions, noting how fans and analysts are always quick to name the opponents they think he should fight. When Crawford doesn't follow that script, accusations of ducking quickly appear. But Bomac dismissed those claims, making it clear that Crawford is carving out his own path rather than living up to outside expectations. For him, Crawford's legacy isn't about satisfying the demands of others. It's about the results he has consistently delivered inside the ring.
Absolutely, but they're probably thinking the way we were all thinking that just because of the weight he should be okay because he's the naturally bigger man. But someone like Crawford, obviously, who's done what he's done, you have to be on the top of your game. And I felt with Canelo, it was probably too many single shots that he was throwing, but he wasn't throwing the usual singles and backing it up because he was getting counted. And
he wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, it wasn't just that Canelo was bad is what I'm trying to get at. Crawford was absolutely sensational on the night and the deserved winner and one of the best.
Because the other side of the argument would be that they actually thought they might be getting Crawford at the right time because they hadn't fought for a while and had some particular surgery. I mean, did it go, as I said to you at the top of the show, Bomac, I mean, I watched you in the corner and I thought it was a exercise in how a corner should be conducted in terms of the communication, the coherency of it and the discipline behind who spoke, when they spoke, what they said and what needed to be heard. Did the fight go exactly as you had mapped out in your mind and what you thought would manifest itself? Is this your last fight? You know, which really annoyed me with Max Kellerman going in and making that the stop part of his questions. Do you think, Bomac, that he gets the recognition and the appreciation that his achievements merit?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Why do you think that is?
I think because of the simple fact that Terence is his own man. You know, he knows the path that he wants to go. And some of the boxing critics or some of the boxing people around boxing figure he should go this route or he should go that route. When he didn't go that route and he went this route, he's ducking the other middleweights. I mean, the other welterweight, so he's ducking 140 pounder. No, he's not ducking them, he's just not available. Well, he should have went this way. I didn't want to go that way. I wanted to go this way because that's the way I wanted to.
But if you study Floyd closely, like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's in the ring. He will pivot just enough to take away the angle from the person in front of him, then he will reset in the center of the ring And his movement and his footwork was just perfect. And it was his feet that made him control every single fight, putting him in the perfect position to defend punches, then that small little sidestep either way to put him into the position to be able to land punches back. And he would also use his front foot to apply pressure with them small little steps, waiting for that moment to land them punches. And if you train boxing, you should be constantly working on the specific footwork things that you need to work on, because you might agree with me, but without good feet, nothing else matters.